Hello, it's Joanne Hewins from LoveToCreate.typepad.com. Today I have a card that I'm going to make with you, and we are using the stamp set that is, sorry I didn't have it quite out here, is Sparkling Snowflakes. This is in the mini catalog, and it pairs up with the Sparkling Snowflakes punch. Let's see if you can see that. And we're going to be using both of these to make this card. This card is part of a blog hop that I'm doing with the Love to Stamp group, and we'll get started on that. The base of the card is made from thick white cardstock, and I have cut this at 4.5 by 11 and scored it at 5.5, and I'm just going to fold that, kind of match my corners and try to make sure everything is straight. And then I'll use my bone folder to flatten that out for us. Let me see. Okay. There we go. We're ready to do that. And I'm going to set this aside and go ahead and work on this insert right here. And I've cut this from basic white, not the thick. And it measures, let's make sure I've got it right, 3.5 by 4 3/4. So that's what I'm going to start on with. And for that, I'm going to need 2 colors of ink. I'm going to use Pool Party, and then I'm also going to use Night of Navy. So I have blending brushes that I have that are dedicated to those colors, and we're going to start with that. So I'm going to start with a lighter color, the Pool Party. And let me see how much color I've got. Not really a lot on that. So I'm going to get some of the Pool Party color. I'm just going to tap out some of the extra because I don't want to start real dark. And I'm starting from the outside of the card and kind of working in with trying to add this color. And just remember, you can always add. It's hard to take color away. So I'm just kind of working on the top part of my card there. And I think I'm going to put a little bit more down in this area. Now I don't know why that blotched unless I'm guessing I probably spit a little bit when I talked. And there's water there. That's embarrassing. And I don't really want those dots there, so I'm sorry. I'm going to turn it on the back and start that again. Sorry that that happened. But you know what? Things happen, don't they? And it's always good to remember that the paper has more than one side. So I think I've got that top part in there. I'm going to add a little bit more down here. And we just want to have it kind of soft on there. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit of the Night of Navy now. I think that's probably enough of the Pool Party. So let me open that color. And again, I'm going to just kind of tap off some of that. And I'll just take that color up into and kind of blend it into what's already there. I think I'm just going to turn that a little bit. And this you can, like I say, add as much or as little as you want. And I am going to kind of blend more into that pool party. And let those colors kind of mingle a little. I think that's pretty. So I think I'll leave it at that. Okay, and so I'm going to be using the snowflakes from this stamp set. Again, let me show you what that looks like. It's got a couple of sayings, and then your different snowflakes. Some of these are solid, and then the others are more detailed. And I'm going to be using, let's see, I'm going to be using this one, I believe, as it's the one that I'm going to color with the navy ink. So I'm going to go ahead and ink that up. And I'm going to add, I'm going to just see if that's going to stamp good. Okay. I'm going to add one here. And I think without re-inking, I'm going to add another one down here. And then I'm going to add one here. And then one there. Okay, now I noticed there's a little bit of dark right here, and you really need to watch out when you are going to stamp and restamp. So what happened is I had that, and there was a little cutoff there where I didn't use the ink as much, and you can tell that when I restamped it again. So that's why that looks like that, but it's going to be okay on this one. All right, now I'm going to take one of the Stampin' Up markers. This is the one for Night of Navy. And I'm going to take off the fat end. And I'm going to use that in the lid to make some of the sprinkle, some little sparkle or dotted areas. And that's just to add a little bit of interest to that. And I think that's enough. So that will take care of that right there. And I'm going to let this dry just a few minutes. I want it to be really good and dry because we're going to use an embossing buddy on top of it in just a minute. So I'm going to bring back in my ink, and around this base I'm going to stamp the same snowflake. I'm going to do one from each side. And we'll do one from the top. And I didn't put those so that they were directly across from each other. I don't know that that matters, but I didn't. Okay, so now I'm going to bring back in this piece, and we're going to be doing some embossing with this. So I'm going to get an embossing buddy, and I'm going to go over all of this really well with my embossing buddy, because I don't want my powder to stick in places it's not wanted. Okay, hopefully that will be good enough. I'm going to be using Versamark, and I'm going to use these other 3 snowflakes to help me with that. So I'm going to do this more solid one. And when I'm doing Versamark, I just kind of like adding it from the top, turning the stamp over and adding the ink from the top. So I'm going to stamp right there with that one. And then I'll do this one. And I think I'm going to do it here. And over here. Now I know you can't see where I'm stamping that. This is really just leaving a stickiness there. And then I'm going to bring this other one I'm going to add it down here. Okay, let me close all that up and move some of this out of the way. And I'm going to bring in some white embossing powder. Now this embossing powder comes with a group of 3, and it is called the Basics, and it comes in white. You get a container of clear and then another container of black. So I'm going to put this in my over that, and then this is going to stick where I had that sticky ink. Okay, and I don't think you can see that very well. Well, maybe a little bit you can. I'm going to bring in, I'm going to take my powder away. I'm going to put the lid on it, because if we come out with a heat tool that's going to be blowing, you don't want to end up with your powder all over your work surface. So I'm going to turn on, I'm bringing in a heat tool. This will be loud for a few minutes. And so this heat will make this powder melt, and you can see it's just starting to. Isn't it pretty? Okay, I think that'll do it. I'm going to heat a little bit from the back and see if I can get my paper to straighten up. It's starting to curl. That helped it. Let me turn this off, and we'll get this out of the way. And I don't know, can you see it? So you see how pretty that looks. Okay, so I'll bring back in the base that we have, but I'm not quite ready to put it on there yet. Let's do some more decorating. So I have a piece of Night of Navy, and this measures just a little bit lower than 2 by almost 4, but not quite 4. And I'm going to put it in my punch that holds up to 2. I want it to be able to slide in easily. Now look at this from the back, because you want to make sure that it's all the way to the end and that it's straight, and the same from each side. Okay. Oops. And then, so here is this piece, and we're going to add it to the card right about there. So that lets that little piece peek out and this one peek out. So let me get my glue. Oops. I'm so glad I've changed to do my taping in the room where I do my work. And so when I forget to get something, usually it's not far away. So I'm going to tape that. I'm just going to make it, or glue that. It's just going to be even with the end. I'm going to kind of look here and make sure that is straight. Okay. And some of that powder is on my work surface, but that's okay. Now I'm going to bring in a piece of distressed gold. I've noticed that this is not available right now, but it will be eventually. And they can always use some other something for this. It wouldn't have to be this distressed gold. Now this isn't 2 inches. This one is actually 1 1/4 inches. So what I'm going to do is put it in all the way. I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to center it by using my left hand there. I'm going to center it and get all of that right where I want it in the middle. And then I'll have that one done. And I'll add some glue and glue that down. Okay. And I'm going to glue it down just a little bit over here toward the side. Just trying to add a little bit of interest to the card. Okay, and now we are ready for our greeting. And I have already embossed this because I know you would see me emboss this other, so it's about the same. And I am going to cut this out. This is with the Stylish Shapes dies. Hold on just a second. And those look like this. It also has this larger one. I've got some stuff pulled out for a class that I'm going to have. So, Stylish Shapes. And I'm going to just, off screen, I think, I'm going to cut this out, if you don't mind. Gosh, I feel like I'm not very organized. I hope it's not coming across so much like that. Okay, so here is our greeting. And we are going to use some dimensionals to add that to the front. I think I'll put another one in there. Okay, and we're just going to add that across right there. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put dimensionals on the back of this. So I'm going to make the whole layer stand out. Or another thing that you might use is the adhesive foam that we have. That would work too, and actually work really well. Okay, I'm just going to take my pick tool to pull off some of these backings of my dimensionals. Okay, and so this will go in the center here. Okay, and you can see it doesn't look exactly like its counterpart, but that's That just keeps things interesting. Usually when you make things by hand, they don't all come out looking exactly the same. All right, I am using the Adhesive Bat Snowflake assortment, and this is found in the online store. And I think I do have enough. I'm sorry, I've had all these cut up for a class, but I do think I've got enough for this one. But I want to get out some of these gold right here that I cut up, and one more like this. Okay, I think I'm ready now. So I'm going to put this little small one right up here, and then I'll put one of these middle-sized. Well, that one went flying. Let me get it right in here. And then the large one, I'm going to put right over here. Isn't that pretty? And that's going to take care of the front of the card. But let's look on the inside and see what this one has on the inside. Okay. The saying says, "May this season of sparkle bring joy and delight." So I have, actually I don't have that one. I have a different one on here. I must have gotten that one from a different stamp set. So I'm going to go ahead and use this one. It's a little bit different. That just says, "Make the season sparkle." And I'm sorry, I don't have that one ready to go. But that let me know that I need to change something in my box for tomorrow's class. And then I'm going to ink up this snowflake and just add it down here. And I probably need to re-ink my pad while I'm at it, don't I? So anyway, there it is. This is the original, and this is the one that we made today. And you can see that they really, even though it looks to me like it's a little hard to do, it's really not. It's really not, is it? So there we go. Joanne Hewins, lovetoCreate.typepad.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and if you need some supplies, I'd be happy to help you. You can locate my online store from my blog. Thank you so much for joining me today. Bye-bye.